Hi guys, it's Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Today we're going to be playing with another real fun collection from Spellbinders. This is the Dancin Christmas Collection. You know I love my dancing cards. Anyway, you are going to love this collection. It starts off with the Monoline Stars embossing folder. This is really super pretty, and I'm already picturing that in some foil. Then we've got the Dancin Gift and Mouse. So he's got a present. You've got all the pieces to make a little mouse that's going to be carrying the present around, and of course he dances as well. Then we've got, Dancin Gingerbread and a Dancin Penguin. And then we've got Dancin Figgy Pudding. Yes, this is going to be super, super cute. So I'm going to go ahead and get started die cutting some pieces out, and then we can start assembling some cute little dancing elements to go on our cards. So I'm going to start off with the Dancin Penguin. Got all the pieces cut out, and you can see which dies those come from. This die here, we've got the scarf, his little beak, and his little wand that he can wave around. And those are really the only things that I'm going to be adding any additional color to. For his beak and the wand, I'm just using my GY4. It's kind of a golden yellow color. And then for his scarf, I figure since I've got him wearing a red sweater, I'm going to have him wear a green scarf. So let's go ahead and just start putting everything else together. So we've got the main part of the body, the black part. Then we've got this little guy here. I am going to pop out his cheek so we can color that. And that one I'm going to use, I think I'll go with my CR2. That's kind of a nice rosy-ish color. That's all it takes there. And we'll go ahead and start gluing him together. So just adding some liquid glue to the back of his main white piece. There we go, and I'll add his little cheek in. And then we can put his sweater on. Is adorable. We've also got a little hat, and along with the white piece, we've got the white piece of his hat and a little pom-pom that goes on the end. I'm going to go ahead and do the pom-pom first because, I already have it out. And let's add his little hat to his head, and then we can add the white fur. Oh gosh, he is just adorable. There we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and add his little sweater. His little scarf on. Next we'll add his beak and let him carry his little wand. And there is the main part of our little penguin. So next we need to get ready our basically the piece that's going to be the movement. We've got his little skates. Yes, he's a skating penguin. So let's go ahead and put the boot part onto his skates. And that is basically it. But I know it's not assembled together. It's not all one piece. What I like to do is actually have everything put together so I can just put it right onto a card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a couple of circles using just this. This is a 3/4, 1 inch, something like that. A small hole punch. And let's just make sure this fits behind him, and it does. So that is going to be perfect. So next we need a foam dot, and this is going to go behind our little penguin. Let's add his little legs so we know that they're going to be showing So there we go. And now I'll just put my foam dot right in that circle. That is where the magic happens. And you're going to see the same kind of mechanism multiple times today. So I'm going to now put one of my dots right over the top, making sure that it doesn't show from underneath. I'm going to grab another. Actually, I'm going to use some of the scrap instead. I'm going to cut off a little bit of the scrap. We don't need a lot. But I do need to put some going higher up on our penguin so that it's all even. First, I need some to go behind that dot, higher up. Because if you look at it, we've got that foam dot kind of low down, right? So now I'm going to put this piece up at the top so it's going to hold everything in place. Now we can make sure that the legs swing freely, which they don't. I've got too much foam too close. Okay, let's change that up a little bit. This is why I test and retest and all the things, because I want to make sure that this works the way I want it. I do still need a little bit of foam up there, so I'm just going to take this tiny piece, this little bitty piece here, and put that up at the top. So it'll be enough to support the top of the circle, but should not be enough to really mess with his legs. So now his legs move freely. Yes. Fantastic. And I'm going to put another foam dot up at the top. And that way we can just adhere him straight down onto the card. Now, because I want to give it a little bit more stability, I am going to add the second one back here. But that is totally optional. And now we have our first character pretty much ready to go on the card. I think I might add some shimmer or some gel pen or something like that to him, but this is pretty much our first little character. Isn't he just so cute? Next, we're going to be doing the Dancin Figgy Pudding, and starting off, I'm going to go ahead and add some color to the big white shape for the main part of our little dessert here. I'm using some cookie dough to kind of add just a light coloring on there. Then I'm going to come in, I think, let's see what slippery when wet looks like along the edges. I am going to just use a scrap here to see if it's what I like. Weeping Willow I think is going to be a little bit too dark, but it is going to be more brown, so that's why I'm not 100% sure. I think slippery when wet will do okay. Let's come in gently from the outside just to give a little bit of shadow and shape to the sides. Probably going to come in a little bit more, and I'm sure I'm going to be coming in with some more of that cookie dough to kind of do that nice blend of the colors. Now, if I wanted this to be all solid and to use an ink pad, I'd probably be using one of my paper pouncers. This way, though, I'm able to get a variation of color without any lines, without filling in the whole thing. Okay, so that looks okay, I think, for the outside part. Let me clean my brush off. So I can come back in with that lighter cookie dough color. And that actually is making it look a little bit more, I don't know, toasted. A little bit more baked. Okay, so I'm going to say that that is good for our face here. I do need to color in those cheeks and the little eyes. I'm going to make the eyes, I think, I'm going to go in with a blue. So this one is AB2. They're going to be kind of a bluish green because of the yellow behind it. And then I'll come back in with that CR Isn't it the CR2? Marker's missing, so I'll come in with the CR3 instead, since I don't know where my other marker went for the little cheeks. There we go. So the ink does need to dry a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and start assembling some more of these bits. We've got some little arms with the little gloves. I'll go ahead and glue those guys together. Same thing with his legs and his boots. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and put together a scarf. Now the scarf has some additional pieces here, and so that I cut out of two different colors. So I've got the white scarf with the red stripes. I'm going to add the tassels on first. That goes down here on this end. And all of the pieces have got little etched dies. I'm trying to get it in the light right. But there's a little etched die there, so you know exactly where to put your extra pieces. There we go. So the scarf is all done. We also have a little bit of holly and some berries to go on the top. And this might take a little bit of time to dry because I decided to use some green mirror cardstock because it was just so pretty with the American holly that I was using last month. I mean, oh my goodness, that is one of my favorite dyes right now. Those nice big green, the nice big holly cut out of either the gold foil or cut out of the glitter. Both of those are just lovely. So we've got that. So let's go ahead and start putting him together. I may change my mind on the color of the eyes, but we shall just see for that. I am at this point going to put a little bit of post-it tape on the back though to hold his eyes in place and his mouth in place. Otherwise it's liable to come off and we don't want that. There we go. So now everything is held in place. We've got this bit of frosting to put on his head. I mean, this is just so stinking cute. I mean, come on. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and put the only things we need to put together on him is we add his arms to the back of him, and we add his scarf and his little holly berries and holly leaves, and then his legs. I mean, that is it. This is a real quick and easy one to do. He's so cute too. When I saw this, I thought, oh my God, he is just adorable. Okay, there's most of the scarf, and then this piece, I think this one's actually supposed to go underneath, so I need to lift that up a little bit so I can add this down onto his body. There we go. So that is it for, well, okay, forgot. I need to put these guys on, even if it hasn't completely dried yet. Let's go ahead and add his holly on. And just as bold as the green and the red are on him, I really think I'm going to have to add something to the eye. So I will definitely be doing that in a bit. So I'm going to flip him over, and we're going to add his little arms on. And you can have his arms positioned however you want. I'm going to have him kind of waving hello. His arms up in the air, all excited because he's dancing and having a good old time. So how cute is that? Next, we need to do the same thing with the mechanism. So we've got our little guy here. So we've got that. I'm going to do again like I did before and cut a couple of circles out of some scraps of cardstock. And you don't have to do this, but I do find that assembling everything ahead of time and then deciding where I want it on the card definitely helps me out a lot. I'm able to kind of just play around and see what I want to do. Okay, so I do need my foam dot up in that area there. And we want it to be high enough so it's not going to cause any kind of problems. What I do think I'm going to do though first, I'm going to cut an extra one of these. I am going to cut an extra one of these to cover the entire back because I'm kind of not wanting to trust that Post-it tape is going to hold it in place and it not accidentally pop off at some point. So let me go ahead and get that die cut real quick. Okay, go ahead and put the backing on there. Okay, so now I don't have to worry about that Post-it tape popping off. Fantastic. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and add our little legs on. So grabbing a foam dot, also going to just add these two over the top. I'm not going to put one down first. Sometimes I do put it on the body and sometimes I don't. So let's go ahead and put this down. It also means you can have them with really short legs if you want it, or some longer ones. I want to see him dance, so I'm going to make him the longer ones. We'll put our foam dot right up there. And add one of our circles here. And I'm going to put it kind of just in the middle there. That should hold everything pretty nicely. Adding the second one. Then let's see whether or not we need another one. Okay, his legs are moving perfect. I love that. I am going to add a little bit of extra foam up at the top, and I'm using the same foam. I'm using the excess from my foam dots for this because I want to make sure it's the same thickness. And then when it comes time to put it down on the card, all I have to do is put some glue on the back of that black circle and I'll take off the release paper and we are good to go. So that little guy is pretty much done. Isn't he just so cute? So I have already colored up my little gingerbread men because we're doing a couple of gingerbread people here. And I'm using the same cookie dough ink. But I'm also going to add a little bit of the weeping willow around the edges to give it a little bit more of a toasted look. So this is a good chance to experiment and see what you think. But I do kind of like the way that looks. So that is kind of what I'm going with. I'm going to do the same thing with the rest of the second body because there's two of the gingerbread people. Yes. So yeah, I'm going to do the second body and I'm going to do around the edges of the two faces so that we've got that nice and baked and just a little bit, tiny bit overdone. Yeah, gingerbread cookie look on these. I mean, gingerbread cookies in general do look a little darker than this, at least every time I've made any, but I think these are going to be still super cute. And I don't want them to be too dark, you know? Since these are cookies, I'm going to add some brown behind the little faces to be for the eyes and the nose. I'm sorry, the eyes and the mouth, yes. And looks like I do need a little bit of color to go behind the cheeks as well. So let me just get a little bit of a couple little tiny pieces of white cardstock. We're going to color those up to be the cheeks. And I did find my CR2. So let's go ahead and just add some pink to these. And then we'll glue them to the back of our little faces. So just adding some glue right around our little cheeks there, and then I'm going to add this in so it's not covering any of the other pieces. There we go. So now we have some little cheeks for our little cookie, and now I'll go ahead and glue the rest of this on, the rest of this brown behind the whole thing. So it's going to be for the mouth and for the eyes. And there we have a cute little face. I'll go ahead and do the same thing with the other one. So now I'm going to start putting everything together. So we've got a little girl and we have a little boy, and the little girl I'm going to have with this little bow in her hair. And she's going to also have some frosting on her head as well. So we've got those bits that are all part of one of the dies. This die here has got a couple of buttons, all the little squiggle pieces that go on the arms and such of our gingerbread people, and then we've got some frosting, kind of like what we did for our figgy pudding. So we're going to put that up at the top on her little head, and then we can put her little bow on. And this glue doesn't take long to dry, but I am finding that it is taking a little bit of time. So I think I'm going to start to make it easier and quicker, just putting my acrylic block in between each piece. Okay, so we've got her little bow on there. Let's go ahead and put the hat on our little boy. So we've got the hat here. It's got a little pom-pom and a band to go across, just like our little penguin did. So I'll start off with the white piece to go across there. And then we can put it on his head. And then I'm going to put the little pom-pom on there too. There we go. So next we've got his scarf. So it's got 3 pieces. Here's the part that goes across in front of his neck, or behind his, anyway, for his neck. Then we've got these 2 pieces where it ties, and we've got the little tassels that go on the end, and then we've got all the little bits to be able to make it a striped. Let's go ahead and add some glue to that. And now we can add our little red pieces. I am going to line everything up so I know where they go. We're going to have it go about like that. So I can go ahead and start putting those bits together. Okay, and then, well, that's for the boy, so that is almost done. We can go ahead and work on our little dress here. So for the dress, we've got a couple of these little squiggles of frosting. One will go across like that at the bottom. That is too cute. And then we'll have another one that's going to be up at the collar. And then we've also got a couple of little buttons. So let's go ahead and add those on. For these, since it's so super tiny, I'm just going to add some glue to my hand and dip it in to get glue all across the back without too much excess. And just press that on down. That looks good. There is a little bit that is popping out around the edges, but that is totally fine because this is going to dry clear. So you're not even going to see it. Let's go ahead and add those couple of buttons there. I'm going to have them a little bit offset. So it'll look kind of like she's facing inwards a little bit. And now her dress is all done. go ahead and put that on one of the bodies. So we've got our two little bodies, and I'm wanting the girl to be facing in from the left and the boy come facing in from the right. So we're going to put this dress onto this body. There we go. And then for our little guy, it looks like his scarf should be about done. So let's go ahead and put his scarf on. Actually, I need to do this first. I need to have his scarf overlapping each other and then put it behind that main part. So let's do that. I almost did it backwards again. So there we go. And then we can put the top piece or the front piece, the part that's actually around his neck can go over the top of that. Let's pick that up. Go ahead and have it off to the side there. And then we can adhere the whole thing down onto his little body there. Might help if I put this on there right side up. There we go. That's going to look better. There we go. It was just like that. Okay, so now we can add the last little bits of frosting. I'm doing the same thing again, just putting it in some glue on my hand. Okay, so there we go. Our little bodies are all done. So now we've got this other kind of odd piece, okay? So we've got this. And that's because the way that these work are different than the ones we've got up here. These have got where the legs move, right? These are going to be where the bodies move. So that means that the little circle piece here is going to get... yeah, it's going to get attached to the back of the body. Okay, I'm going to bring it down enough so we don't have too much hanging over. Actually, yeah, I'll do it about there. So it's going to be where we've got the neck there. And I hope that you understand that what that means is that this one little die can make a lot of other things become little dancing cards. Okay, so let's just make sure that I've got it in place right before I do the girl too. So now we just place this right over the top, and that means that right about there, just gonna double check. That looks perfect. So right about there is where I'm gonna want to put my glue dot on my foam dot. I don't want it to be too high. I don't want it to be too low. The dot needs to basically be at the top of where this circle is. So right about there. Let's just double check it one more time to make sure it is where I want it. And that's going to make it be right about there in his little... oh, this is going to be too cute. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Let me go ahead and do a couple more pieces of cardstock in our punched out of... yeah, a couple of circles punched out. For the back of this guy, I get tickled sometimes when I'm creating. I think you guys have already noticed that. Okay, placing that on the back there. And then I'm going to add the second one to give it a little bit more stability. Yeah, that is just too cute. So we've got our little boy done. Again, I'm probably going to add some sparkle and stuff to everything, but let's go ahead and get our little girl done too. So yeah, now her little head moves too. That is too cute. Okay, so that's that one. So now I've got one more to go, and that is the little mouse. So for the mouse, I think I actually cut out additional pieces that I probably don't need, but I've got them anyway. So we're going to go ahead and start assembling this little guy. First, we've got our package, and that's these couple of pieces. You can do them in a couple of different colors. You can color them if you want to. But what I decided to do is just stick with the dark red like I've been using on so much more of the other stuff. And I'm going to add this nice pretty gold bow using some gold mirror cardstock from Spellbinders. This is my favorite gold foil paper. I mean, it's like metal. It doesn't like to stick. It takes a little bit longer than some of the other things to actually adhere down, but it is fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. It does bend and it holds its shape. So it is kind of interesting. I've used it in a lot of different projects, and like I said, it is one of my favorites. Of course, I kind of save it mostly for around Christmas time, but you could definitely use this all year round. This and the silver are absolutely fabulous. I've heard recently that there's some other colors, but I haven't tried those yet. So that is going to be on my wish list, I think. So going ahead and adding this one down. I do have my acrylic block handy. Not handy enough, apparently. But I've got my acrylic block handy to give it a chance to kind of stick before I add the next piece on, because then I'll need to add the little bow right across the top. And I think I'm just going to adhere it right here in the center, right where it would be tied. And that is such a pretty little present. That would be a great focal image all by itself. Okay, so let's go to the next bit. We've got his sweater, and I cut it out of some blue and some white. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically layer it up. So to do that, I'm going to need to cut some pieces off. This one, unlike the ones that were for our other characters, it doesn't have everything already separated. So it's basically where you could have it as a one, just a one piece. Oh, I take that back. We do have some. We've got the light blue. I forgot about these. So I'm going to use the dark blue and the light blue and adhere those together. That's what I'm going to do. Don't you love it when you forget that you've got the things? Okay, so we're going to add the little tassel onto the end first. I'm probably using the wrong word for that because I don't wear... Yeah, I don't actually wear scarves because I'm in Florida and it doesn't normally get that cold. So if you guys know what this piece here is called, it might be just the fringe. If it's not the fringe, tell me down in the chat, or rather in the comments, what that is called, because yeah, it would be a good thing for me to know, right? I'm gonna put this other piece right in the center there. Well, I think since we've got almost everything is in the dark blue, I'm gonna go with the white legs instead. So we've got his white legs, and then we've got his little boots. So put his little foot on there. You just have to play with this stuff. You never know how it's going to turn out, and you can use your imagination. You can follow the instructions exactly, or you can just go with it. For our little mouse's face, it does have the eye and the nose still popped in. It looks like I lost the piece for his cheek, I think. Oh, no, I didn't. Here we go. So I am going to glue a piece of cardstock to the back, and then we'll be able to color those bits and make sure that they stay in place. It's the same kind of thing that I did before using some Post-it tape. Post-it tape might come off. I don't think it will, but it's possible. So instead, I'm going to go with a piece of cardstock just to be on the safe side. Going to color his little cheek with the CR5 as well, and then pop that into place. Now for his nose, I'm going to go with a little black nose, and I could use my Spectrum Noir marker for that, but I have a feeling I would get outside the line, so I'm just going to use this, I think this is just a regular black gel pen to color in the nose and to color in his eye. There we go. So let's go ahead and add his ear in, the inside of his ear. And now his little face is all done. I think that is so cute. Okay, so now we can assemble his little sweater, put the sweater on him, and add his tail and his hand. Okay, so the sweater's up, the sweater's on him. We can go ahead and add our little scarf. So he's all nice and toasty. Oh, these are just too cute. I keep saying that, but they are. Oh my goodness. I love these. They are just so friggin' adorable. Okay, so his tail does need to go from kind of behind on this piece. I'm not going to attach it to the legs. No, 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 no. I'm not going to do that. Got the little hand to go into the sleeve of his sweater. Okay, so this is where it's going to get fun. So you could use any kind of paper you want for this. You could use pattern paper for the package. He's basically going to be carrying him just like that. So let's add a bunch of glue to the back of our little mouse. And I probably have more on there than I need, but I want to make sure I've got it nice and covered. So there we go. We're going to put our acrylic block down on there. And then we can do his little legs so he can be moving. Just like, I don't know what this piece is. Oh, he's got a second ear that I didn't put on there. So here's a second ear. So I need to put that on there too before this adheres too much. So his ear, that's perfect. Okay, so got to add glue to the front and to the back because dummy me, I didn't put it on before I put our little mouse onto the package. So it needs to adhere to the package and to his head. And there is a little etched line there to let you know kind of where it's supposed to slide to. So it goes right about there. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we're going to flip him over. His little legs need to go down below his body. And it just needs to make sure we've got, the circle needs to be up on his body. We don't want it to be hanging off anywhere. So let's go ahead and add a little foam dot right up there. And then add our little circles. And this time I am going to add a bit more foam, especially up towards the top. And it looks like I do have a couple more bits of scrap that I can use. I could absolutely use the dots themselves, but I'd rather save my circles for making them. I'm making all of my little critters dance. So our little mouse, not necessarily dancing, but he is walking while he's carrying that package. So that is super cool. Now that we've got all of our characters made, we can put them on some cards. So let's go ahead and get these assembled. I've layered up a couple of layers of cardstock. I've got that fun pattern paper, the fun foil paper that I embossed with the Monoline Stars embossing folder. I'm using that for all of my cards here today. Decided to also make a last card doing the same thing to show that you can use other things than just these cuties. Anyway, this is from Simon Hurley's stamp set. This one is from Retro Holidays, and so are the other sentiments. It's just kind of what gave me the idea. So I'm just going to put this tree right in the middle of my card, and that's all that's needed for this one. We've got that real shiny paper, and we've got a fun sentiment, and that's it. That's going to be our completed card. So they definitely swing and dance, so I think that is super cute. So let's go ahead and look at all of the cards. So we've got our gingerbread people, we have our little ice skating penguin, we've got our little mouse that's running off to take a present to someone, and we've got our figgy pudding, along with that Merry Christmas tree from that Simon Hurley set that I popped up on some foam. So anyway, this made a bunch of really cute cards. I love this set. Yes. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Be sure to check out the playlist to see some more projects where I'm using Spellbinders products, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.